Hey, hello, everyone. Good evening. It's your favorite turn is Dr. Berry. As you can see, we are definitely a little bit late today. We're going to do like we always do. Wait a few minutes and then kind of get this thing started. And it's gonna be a nice quick little venting session today. I'm not gonna vent too long, but as you can see, looks like it's about 9:12. I am still in scrubs. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about my day. Hey Maria, thank you for showing up, liking, sharing as always. So we're gonna give it a few seconds and then kind of get this thing started. Like I said, it is evening time. I try not to do these lunch and learns late, but today just seemed to be one of those days where everything that could have went awry. So we're gonna talk a little bit about time management in your doctor's office and how can we improve that, both me as a physician and you as a potential patient. So let's give this a second, get our sharing on, and then we can, get this thing started. All right. Oh, hey, Carrie, how you doing? I think this is the first time I've seen you on Facebook Live. Appreciate you for joining. Here, I know you just missed it. We are going to be talking about time management in the doctor's office. I usually do these things kind of early, like lunchtime, but as you can see, it's 9 o'clock, and I had to do my lunch and learn a little bit later than I wanted to. So appreciate you for joining. And then we're going to start in a few. I'm just sharing it to my regular page, and then we can kind of get this thing started. I am live. I'll share this on my personal page. Okay, so that's shared away. Like I said, we're not. Oh, appreciate that. Again, I definitely don't want to keep you guys long. I usually try not to do these things this late in the evening for a bunch of reasons, but today just happened to be one of those days where everything that could have went wrong from a time management standpoint went wrong. So just to kind of give a quick little rundown, I am Dr. Berry, board certified internist, found at drpierresblog.com, author and speaker. If you had not had a chance, go ahead and check out my website, drpierresblog.com or drberrypierre.com. It will take you to the same website. Today we're going to be talking about time management. We're going to talk about how to navigate the doctor's office, how to get in and out the doctor's office, and how as the physician can get in and out that office as well, because that's definitely something that did not happen today. My Tuesdays, just kind of quick rundown. I usually do office hours from 9 to 12. Office hours from 9 to 12. On Tuesdays, I have a late lunch because I sometimes will go to the nursing home. So from 12 to 2, I'm usually out doing nursing home stuff or at lunch, and then I come back from 2 to 5. Today was not that day for any of that to happen. So starting out, again, I think my first patient came about 9:10, 9:15, which is okay. But I didn't get out of my morning session until almost 1 o'clock. And of course, we can see where the problem lies when I'm usually doing my lunch and learns at 12:30. That 1 o'clock was just not the business. So definitely was a little perturbed this morning. And, there was, a few issues from a breakdown standpoint. What tends to happen, especially in the earlier year, our office tends to do a little bit more insurance verification, making sure I'm the patient's PCP and making sure that, I can actually see you before you kind of come in. But what tends to happen, so this month and next, probably over the next couple months, we're getting a lot of new patients. We're just getting a lot of new patients just because, everyone's kind of signed up for the Affordable Care Act plans, or, just health insurance in general, and now they're seeing their physician for the first time. But what tends to happen, especially for my patients, especially for my newer patients and my older patients, they were in trouble too. If if your appointment is at, let's say, 10 o'clock, if you don't come until 10 o'clock, you still got paperwork to do. And again, we talked about those insurance verifications. You still got those things to kind of work out on. So again, you may not end up being seen for 15, 20 minutes later. And most offices kind of have a system where this kind of, they kind of bring you in about 10, 15 minutes earlier. And my office was pretty good at it. But I think because we hadn't seen so many new patients in quite a while, we kind of forgot, that pattern of, how to get a patient from the lobby to, the triage where, we take vitals, and then to the room to come see me. And so, there were some breakdown issues there, which, like I said, we'll take care of, because again, I don't want to, and I kind of noticed it because I think over the past, couple of weeks, I've noticed that I was working, almost halfway through lunch, a quarter through lunch, 3/4 through lunch. So it was definitely something that had been happening, a little bit more frequently that, I didn't really notice it until today. And I think the reason why I even noticed it as much today is because it usually would occur when I wasn't doing a lunch and learn, so it wasn't Tuesday or Thursday. Hey, Dr. Donna, appreciate you for joining. Dr. Donna, we are talking about time management in the doctor's office. And the reason why we're talking about it is because, as you can see, it's like 9:20 and I'm doing my lunch and learn because my schedule had been pushed back the whole day. So the whole day, when I should have been doing my lunch and learn, I was seeing patients. And, when I should have been eating lunch, I was seeing patients. And then when I should have been, even today, when I should have been going home, I was still seeing patients. So that's definitely something. So I wanted to kind of pivot from my blood pressure. I'll save the blood pressure talk on Thursday, but I definitely wanted to make sure for my listeners and followers who are making their appointments at the doctor's office, some I don't want to say etiquette because etiquette sounds strong, but just some positive things that they could be doing to kind of speed up that process. Now I'll tell you again, I understand that you guys go to some doctor's offices where you're used to waiting for 30 minutes, an hour, which to me is crazy. So, but that's not my office. You can ask my office staff, I absolutely hate when my patients are waiting that long. So when that happens to me, that's definitely something I want to, make sure we kind of address very quickly. So again, when you first go to the doctor's office, very important to, especially if you're my new patient, let's talk to the new patients. Now, if you're a new patient, you should be showing up about 10, 15 minutes early because a lot of times you have a lot of homework, a lot of paperwork to fill out. A lot of times from an office standpoint, we tend to have to do a lot of insurance verification and whatnot. What can you do to help them? So we're going to talk about what can we do to kind of speed up that process. And even from just an efficiency standpoint, it's just not efficient to be a new patient coming at the time you're scheduled. Because again, if you're scheduled at 10 o'clock and you walk into the office at 10 o'clock, there's no way you're going to be seen at 10 o'clock. And so, that kind of pushes everyone back from that standpoint there. So definitely being able to fill out your paperwork as soon as possible. That's a big plus for us, especially if you can fill it out early. My applications is actually on my H&P is online. So, if you're a patient of mine, you can go online, print out your application, do it at home, then walk in with it. That way you don't have to waste the time of doing it when you get to the office. And then now let's look at some of some office things. Like, what are some office things that we can kind of help speed up the process? Before, I have like a little kind of an efficiency timetable where when you first come in my office, you're seeing, if you're sitting down for like 5 minutes, we're pretty much bringing you back into the room, even when your paperwork's not ready, because we found that it takes a lot longer for you guys to kind of sit in the lobby and kind of do your home, do the, I keep saying homework, but really, maybe it is homework. Do that paperwork that you have to do, and then come in the back and kind of do your blood pressure and everything. Oh, what's going on, Jose? Filling out the paperwork is extremely time saver. So please, 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 if you can, do that. And for the most part, a lot of us, if you tend to have lots of medications, bring them with you. There's no problem with, having a Publix bag or whatever shopping store is near you. No, just bring all your medications with you. That way, you're not having to think about your medications. You're not having to call our office later about your medications that you may have forgot when you first came in to see us in the office. So again, bringing your medications with you can save us a lot of time. And you'll see I focus on time a lot because honestly, time is money. Time is money for everybody. I don't want you staying in my office longer than you don't have to, and I don't want you staying in the office longer than you don't have to, because everyone has something to do. I know some people kind of plan their day around going to the doctor's office. So if you end up, it irks me too, right? If you have to wait 30 minutes or an hour to come see me. So, do what you can to, get in the back. Get your vitals done as soon as possible. That way I can do what I can to get you out the office as soon as possible. Let's move on. So let's talk about, let's say once you're in the back. I think one of the key issues that kind of slows down a doctor's office is that a lot of times their patients tend to have, Brother Shelton, what's going on, sir? Shelton, we're talking about time management in the doctor's office. Reason why we're talking about this, I was going to be talking about blood pressure, but today, as you can see, it's 9 o'clock and I have to do this lunch and learn because my whole schedule was backed up from the beginning. I was working all the way through my lunch. I was working past office hours. So I said, you know what? We got to talk about some time thing, get this thing kind of like nipped in the bud very, very, very quickly. Hey, Joy, how you doing? So we're talking about time and, how to get in your doctor's office and out the doctor's office quick as possible. So we talked about, filling out your paperwork before you get there, especially if you have a chance. Fill out your paperwork before you get in there. That way, by the time you walk in, our office staff just has to, maybe verify some insurance, and then we get you in the back. Second, we talked about if you have medications, and a lot of my patients tend to have a lot of medications, bring those medications with you. Don't sit there trying to have them to memorize. Don't sit there and having to bring back medications. Hey, how you doing? Don't sit there and having to, bring back medications, or call our office later on in the evening. Bring all your medications with us. Again, we like when you bring your medications. That way we don't have to guess on how often you take it. We don't have to guess on what type of medications you take. And then, it kind of helps us too, especially as a physician, right? Because if you're on a medication that should have been, refilled a month ago and you still got some medications left, that one tells me that you're not really taking your medications like you're supposed to. Hey, Dr. Jared, America's Dentist is on the Facebook Live today. Please follow America's Dentist, Dr. Jared. She's based out of Atlanta. Guys, Dr. Jared, we're talking about time management in the doctor's office, how to get in and out. And Dr. Donna is being extremely helpful as far as listing some of the things that we talked about. We talked about doing coming early, 10 to 15 minutes coming early. We talked about our medications. Having your medications, having your online system to fill out. Yes, having an online system to fill out like prior to it. And again, I'm talking to the patients, but I got to get on our doctors too, right? And the reason why is because a lot of us are really dropping the ball on our patients' time because we're not really respecting our patients' time either. I've been a patient, many times. My kids have been patient many times. I hate to wait just as much as these patients hate to wait. Hey, Dr. Shanika, how you doing? So, it's a 50-50 thing. We can't be sitting there. Dr. Donna, I had to shout you out earlier. I apologize. All the moguls on. Dr. Regina is on as well. A lot of medical moguls on the call this evening. Terry, Marvin, what's going on, bro? We're talking about time management and how to get in and out the doctor's office. So we got to understand that, we got to be extremely mindful on our patients' time. Please, everybody, we got some medical moguls on. If you get a chance, look at my comments. Go ahead and follow them as well. Oh, wait. Tell me about Waiver King, Jose. I missed that comment. Tell me about the Waiver King. That may be something we may have to use in our office. Because again, I understand that your time is valuable, right? And because I understand your time is valuable, please understand our time is valuable as well. So anything you can to, get us from point A to point Z, and point Z is, getting you out that door, we want to help you. So we talked about coming early. We talked about filling out your paperwork. We talked about especially I got most of my patients are on medications. So if you're on some medications, bring all of those medications with you. And then let's do another thing, because this happens a lot. A lot of y'all, I'm talking to my patients, a lot of y'all have like 100 different problems, right? That you want us to kind of deal with in that 10, 15, 20 minute time frame. Honestly, we can't do it, right? So, you got to be very mindful that, in the time that you got, your doctor probably can't solve every single issue that you got. So it's very important to really have a priority list. For my patients, I tell them, to bring a little notepad, write down 5 things, and then we're going to pick usually 2 or the 2-3 main ones. And then we're going to bring you back later on, to kind of discuss the later ones, because again, we can't, solve 100 different things in that 10, 15, 20, 30-minute session. And you don't want your doctor having to, be in so many different directions, because he can't really focus on the one problem. So definitely prioritize your questions. Again, because like I said, we're trying to get you in and out. I'm trying to get you in and out the office as well. So, please help me help you, try to get on out of there in that regard. So now, that's the patients, right? So we talked about, some things that patients can do to speed up the time management in office. Now I got to reverse it, right? So now I got to flip it on our doctors, because again, like I said, it's 2 sides of the coin, right? Because let's say you do all of those things right there, but you happen to be in one of those doctors' offices who just, double book, which I'm not a fan of. Double book, who don't really respect your time, who really feel like you can, wait in the lobby 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, especially when you shouldn't need to. So, I think as a physician, we take, we can't blame everything on our patients, right? We can't blame all of our time issues on our patients. We can't blame all of the running behind on our patients as well. So definitely, and I think a lot of it let's start at the front, right? Your front office, yeah, exactly, boo to double booking, right? And a quick caveat on the double booking, right? You know why we do that, right? We double book because a lot of patients will no call, no show, right? So again, I'm just a business mindset, right? If I got 20% of my patients no calling, no showing, I got to make sure I fill them out. Waiver King only says somewhere fill out. Oh, I like that. Okay. All right. So Jose's talking about waiver, this online system preset medical question. All right. I'm gonna have to look into that, Jose, because that definitely is something we could probably implement. Because again, if it's easy, that's something that they can kind of fill out, and before we walk in there, we kind of know what they want. I definitely think that's something that needs to be done. So Waiver King. Sorry. So I'm gonna be looking into that tomorrow, because like I said, I'm all about efficiency. I'm all about trying to get in and out the office myself. I'm all about trying to get you in and out the office yourself too, because again, you got your things you got to do. We got our things we have to do as well. So now let's, we're putting this the eye back on the offices. The offices, y'all got to do better, right? At scheduling, the right people, because we tend to know who gonna no call, no show. And if you know who gonna no call, no show, you got to be very stern with them and stop scheduling them. I got a policy. You no call, no show on me twice. if you just got to come, you almost got to do a walk-in because we got to see you before we put your name on the appointment list, right? Because you're not going to burn this too many times. Because again, the problem is, I book you for, let's say, a 9 o'clock appointment. You don't show up at 9 o'clock. So I got a good 15, 20-minute block that I'm just kind of sitting there twiddling my fingers and I can't do nothing about it. So, again, we require... See, now let me tell you about the dentistry, right? Let's do a little tangent on the dentistry. Right? America's dentist, Dr. Jarrett, talked about how they require deposits. I love dentistry, man, because they really about their business, right? Like, I just wish the medical field could pull some of that, that dentistry tactics, right? Like, require a deposit before you make your appointment. Like, imagine, like, if you had to pay your copay before you can make that appointment, right? Like, that would be just absolutely money, right? But like, they do it smart. Like, that's how you're really supposed to do it. Collect some type. There's got to be some type of burden. Maybe I just collect your credit card on file, right? If you had your credit card on file with a doctor's office and they knew that if you didn't show up, they were charging that credit card, would you not show up to the doctor's office? I don't think so, right? So the dentistry always knows, what they do because their business always been on point from the get-go from that standpoint. So, again, everyone, if you haven't had a chance, again, follow Dr. Jarrett, America's dentist, based out of Atlanta, in that regards too. So again, look at that. I mean, required deposit. So imagine if I started just having your credit card on file, no call, no show. I'm charging the $25, no questions. I'm not even second guessing. You didn't already sign the paper. I bet we'd have less no call, no shows. But in our medical field, we've always been behind on the times from an efficiency standpoint because we don't really run business like we're supposed to run business. Again, the dentist folks know exactly what they're doing from a business standpoint. We're not there yet. Hopefully we will be, but we're not there yet from that standpoint. And then for my front office folks, we gotta maybe the small talk. We gotta get folks in out the lobby and back into the room because again, at the end of the day, yes, we want to know how their life is doing, but a lot of times, and my doctors will tell you, a lot of y'all are very long talkers, right? So y'all long talk my front office person, y'all long talk my MA. So by the time you see me, you probably been in the building like 20 minutes. So we gotta, cut that, the chit chat as much as possible. Because again, at the end of the day, you're coming to see me anyways. You're coming for some medical problem. So let me, get to you as soon as possible. Because, it's all this, this working system. I can't go see you until my front office checks you in and my MA, brings you to that back room. So again, if you, the patient, are kind of slowing down the problem, that's something, that my office and, offices in general just kind of have to work on from that standpoint. As a physician, right? I try to, get to know my patients as much as possible. But even sometimes I'm guilty, right, of doing too much small talking, right? Sometimes, you get into the habit, you talking about last weekend's football game. You're talking about what you saw on TV. Now I'm talking a lot about politics. So, next thing you know, 20 minutes later, I would say 20 minutes, but that adds up. So imagine if you spend an extra, 2 minutes, 3 minutes with each patient. By the time you get to that, that fifth, sixth patient, you done wasted about, 12 to 15 minutes just talking when you could have got the patient in and out the room. So definitely, trying to cut the chit chat is very important, especially from a physician standpoint. Especially, and I can tell you, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not perfect, right? Because I talk a lot. My patients will tell you. I will sometimes ramble. So sometimes my MA will, hit that door, and I already know what that means. They're like, all right, Barry, you're talking too much. We got patients outside the door. So definitely be very mindful of the chit chat. Again, like I said, you're in there to get your business done. Whether it be, you got a patient problem, you trying to get some medications refilled, you trying to get your vaccinations done. Exactly, well spent in moderation. Very key, Dr. Donna, in moderation. A lot of us are doing way too much talking about something that's not really, kind of getting us to the goal line there. And again, remember, our goal line is, how do I get patient A out my office, right? That's really the goal line. At the end of the day, how do I get this person in and out? And especially now because, you got these electronic medical records that they're tracking everything. They're tracking the second the patient walks into the building. They're tracking the second the patient checks in, the second the patient, my MA does a vital sign, the second I walk in the door, the second I walk out the door. They're checking the second I close the note. So you got times everywhere you go. So, you can't be wasting it. Small talking and, not really getting the job done. And again, at the end of the day, you do your patients a disservice. You may not do the patient that you're seeing in front of you a disservice, but you got to think, 2-3 patients down the line. When you're when you've been talking about football for the last 3 visits, and this person, is, they got to get back to work. They only took an hour off just so they can see you real quick, get the note done, and go home. And you've been chatting away, and now they can't. Now they're late to work. Now they need a note for work. So please be mindful of our patients' time with less. Chitter chatter that's not really helping the situation from that standpoint there. Like I said, I didn't. I was hoping I wasn't gonna have to do this talk, right? But as you can see, it's almost 9:40, right? And I'm doing my lunch and learn, right? Because my time just kind of got pushed back. Again, I usually do on Tuesdays. It's usually 9 to 12. I have pretty much a break from 12 to 2, and then from 2 to 5, I'm doing my work on Tuesdays. Today, I was seeing patients from 9 to 1. I had a business meeting from 1 o'clock to 1:40. I got back to the office from 2 to almost 5:40. I was seeing patients. And then I had hospital patients to see. So then I had to take my kid back home, then go right back to the hospital, right? So, and that's, as you can see, why I'm still in my scrubs. So again, hope I didn't long talk you guys very much. I just wanted to kind of get that out there, get some time management keys out to the world, so you guys can understand that we as physicians are just as frustrated when we're backed up as you the patient is. So help us help you try to get out that office. And for guys, if you have not yet, go ahead and follow the website, drpsblog.com. Go ahead, download. Just today, January, we got that free book. drpsblog.com/free book. I'm giving out the free ebook. Go ahead and get that while you can during the month of January. You guys have a great and blessed day. I will see y'all tomorrow.